Feeling stuck doesn't always mean that you are not moving. It's just that maybe the progress is not visible yet, and you need to deal with that. You know, most of my life, somehow, I feel that I was stuck. Think about this. You make your plans, you plan everything the best way possible. But when you start, for example, in my line of work, working with construction, working with construction, in many occasions, you have to deal with that construction for at least 1 year, sometimes more than a year. And throughout all of that time, in many occasions, you feel stuck. You are planning. Sometimes you are going to buy a lot. When you buy the lot, you experience that feeling of happiness. You really nail it. You were able to find a very good lot for your next construction. Then you are going to start the construction. All right. But the entire time when the construction is rolling, the feeling is that you were stuck. You have to deal with that. You have to deal with the fact that you have, in each step, you have less money, less money, less money, less money. And in many occasions, I wasn't able to know if I could finish the construction or not. In many occasions, I had to sell my car to finish the construction. This last construction that I finish it's a house, and I finish in a place here in my city, here in Brazil, and that you have to negotiate with your feelings. Rationally, you know that you are doing what you need to do to progress, but emotionally, as in every day you have less and less money in your bank account, you have to deal with that. You know, you have to deal with the situation of having less and less money. And it's not always easy to deal with it. You have to negotiate. You know, also in training, in many moments, you are training for a long time, and it seems that everything is the same. Everything, you are not progressing. But this is the key to progress. In many circumstances, in many parts of life, the progress happens in steps, not in a progress line like this. No, in steps. So in many occasions, you have to deal with the frustration. It seems to you that you are not evolving, but the reality is not like that. You need to stick to your plan, the reality that you know that exists. It is like compound interest, you know. It's it's difficult to follow what is happening with compound interest. But you don't need to follow. What you need to do is to understand what is happening at the beginning of the process when you start, and do what you have to do throughout the process. This is what you need to do. Just like that. For example, when I was young, I was starting at the construction. I made my plans to build warehouses here. And then everything was okay with the plan. And I just thought that if I own, for example, five warehouses, six warehouses, or even more, I would be in a very good position. What I thought was each warehouse that I am able to build, I will be closer of my objective of what I want to achieve. And then I started. But you see, it's not as simple as that. This is just the rational part of the equation. You need to deal with the emotional part. In my perspective, for example, I was a young guy and I was watching all of my friends with new cars, finance, and I was without a car. Or I was with a very old car, a beaten car, you know, and I have to deal with that. In many occasions, I remember to think, oh, maybe I am losing my best years. Maybe they are doing the right thing. But you know something? Somehow I managed to do things in a way that I was able to live life at the same time that I was working. It's something that often is misunderstood by people. Many people think that people who want to prosper, people who want to save money, are not able to enjoy life. And in a certain perspective, they are right. You are not going to buy the best cars, you are not going to spend your money with unnecessary things, stuff that you are going to buy every day. But if you are intelligent enough, you are going to manage a way to do things. For example, I remember that I always liked to travel. And one of the things that was important for me was to travel. And somehow I managed to travel to different countries, to go abroad. But the thing wasn't the best way possible. Quite on the contrary, but was the possible way for me. And I was at the same time building wealth. Now, when I look to those same friends, they are in a very similar position to this day. They have good cars, everything, but they need to work. It's not the same position that I am right now. I don't need to work anymore. I work because I want. Right now, I finished the construction. I was unable to sell. I rent the construction, and now I'm not working because I can't afford to not be working right now. But in the beginning, it was difficult to understand that. You know, it's like a bet. You are betting in yourself, in what you want to do. So, in these circumstances, it's really a challenge. But there is something that now I realize that I understood at the time, but I couldn't put it in words. But now I can, which is this: you don't have to believe, you just have to do. Of course, that in the beginning of the process, um, you are going to establish your plan, and you need to believe rationally. You need to believe rationally in the process. What I'm speaking about is this, is that during the process, you are going to doubt. This is what I'm talking about. You are going to doubt the whole thing because of your emotions, not because of the math, not because of your plan. In this matter, everything it's okay. You plan everything. You did the math. You did everything right. But the thing is, we have to deal with our emotions, and it's not easy. So when I was doing that, the thing that happened with me was this. In each step of the process, I was able to see some improvement in each step. For example, when I finish the first warehouse, I try to put it together in a best way possible. I try to do everything well done. And then when I finish, even before I finish the construction, the warehouse was already rented. I remember that one of the guys that was working in the construction was there, and this possible renter tenant, this possible tenant appeared there. Then I talked to him, and he told me that he was thinking about renting, and I gave to him all the information that he needed, and I went out to do my things. And I was resolving some bureaucracy in another city, the next city, in that same day. That same day, and then one of the maybe 4 hours later, 4 hours after I have left the warehouse, I was. You have to keep in mind that I was very young. I was 23 years old. Then this guy that was working in the construction, he called me and told me, "Oh man, that guy is still here. The possible tenant is still here." And then I asked him, "Oh, why is that? His car broke or something?" No, he told me no. He is measuring everything. It seems to me that he is really renting this thing. So I was able to rent the warehouse right away. I was very young. Then I realized, oh, this thing really works. And then I, after some time, I was able to buy another lot, and then I did it again, and I did it again. And in each step um, was very was a very good circumstance that happened of me being able to understand the process and how things were going to evolve. So it was very good for me. But the thing is, um, during the process, I doubt everything. And I doubt that I was doing the right thing because I thought that maybe I should be living the same way that my friends were living. But now, living the way that I live now, having time to be with my daughters every day, having time to train, working because I want, not because I need, and a lot of other circumstances that I have in my life that give me freedom today, make me sure that I did the right decision at the time. So this is what I want to share with you right now here, that if you are struggling with doubt if you are doing the right thing in saving money, you don't. It's the right option for you. Good this. It's good for you. It's going to be good for you. You need to resolve other things in your life. What you are going to do to enjoy life. You know what? How find a way to travel if you like to travel. For example, the my entire journey while I was building, since uh, I was 22, 23 years old, the entire time I was training every day. I was going to the gym. I manage a way to go to the gym every day because this for me is part of enjoying life. So I was having time with my friends. I have a very good um, marriage with my ex-wife. Now she is my ex-wife, but I manage. We have a very good life. We manage to do things in a very good way because money, it resolves things, but it doesn't resolve everything. You need to keep that in mind. You know, for example, when it comes to cars, you are going to have a car. You go to have a beaten car, a bitter, né? It's a bitter car. It's going to resolve your situation, and you are doing another thing that is going to bring you a lot of joy with time. You know, I was thinking about a cousin of mine, and he is now in the age of around 60 years old, and he is struggling with money. And he was someone who enjoyed enjoyed life very much. But the reality is this: I don't think that he have enjoyed his life more than I am. I have. I had. He did things this way. Now he's paying the price. He is in his 60s, struggling with money. And this is not good. The reality is this: as we age, I'm not telling you that you should stop working as you age. No. Even in my situation, I don't believe that I will stop work because I enjoy work. But the good thing is this: you work because you want, not because you have, not because you need, you know? And when you are in your younger years, when you are in your 20s and 30s, these are the best years to enjoy life, yes, but these are also the best years to work. These are also the best years to put everything together, to find a way to enjoy and to work at the same time because you have energy. Maybe when you are in your late 40s and 50s, you are not going to be able to do the two things together. You will have to, you will feel tired more easy. So it's better to do it in your early years. All right, my friends, this is all that I have for you today. Thank you all that are watching. Thank you all for tuning in, and I see you in the next video.